Hi everyone, before I start this video, make sure that you're a part of my Discord server by joining the link in the description box below. And in this video, we'll be going over A-Level Accounting 2024 May-June Paper 2-3 question number 2. This is paper 2, which consists of 4 questions. 2 of them will be of 30 marks and 2 of them will be of 15 marks. And the total time limit for this paper is 1 hour and 45 minutes. Since question number 2 is of 15 marks, ideally you should be spending about 17.5 minutes in order to solve this question. And in this video as well, we'll be attempting to solve it under 17.5 minutes. So without any further delay, let's get started. Nadia maintains control accounts as part of the double entry system of her business. The purchases ledger and the sales ledger contain memorandum accounts only. We need to see 3 benefits of maintaining control accounts. So the very first benefit of maintaining control accounts is that it will check the arithmetical accuracy of our purchases ledger and sales ledger. So checks arithmetical accuracy of purchases ledger and sales ledger. The second benefit of maintaining control accounts is that it will help prevent fraud. So it helps prevent fraud. And the third benefit is that it will provide the total of our trade payables and the trade receivables. So it provides total trade payables and trade receivables. That is all for the first part. Let's move towards the next one. We now have additional information. On 31st March 2024, Nadia found that the closing balance of the control accounts did not agree with the totals of the individual account balances in the purchases and sales ledgers. So we have been given the purchases ledger control account balance, total of trade payables in purchases ledger, sales ledger control account balance, and total of trade receivables in sales ledger. Nadia then discovered the following errors which accounted for the differences. First of all, let's take a look at our question. We need to complete the following statements to correct the accounting records for trade payables, and we need to complete the following statements to correct the accounting records for trade receivables. Let's do these two together. We'll go over each information and then correct it in the respective accounts. The first one is a credit note issued by Nadia for 490 had been entirely overlooked. Credit note will be issued at the time of sales returns, and in this case, Nadia is the one issuing the credit note, which means that this 490 refers to the sales returns and it has not yet been entered into our control account as well as the ledger account. So this will affect the sales ledger control account along with the sales ledger balances. And since this is sales returns, it will definitely reduce the balance of the trade receivables, which is why we will be subtracting this amount on both of these accounts. So 490 will be subtracted as part of the sales returns, and here as well we'll be subtracting 490 as part of the sales returns. Alright, that is all for the first information. For the second one, the total of the purchases journal had been understated by 3,250. Now, this is the error in our book of prime entry, which will only affect the control account. So we need to rectify it within our purchases ledger control account, and we're talking about purchases being understated. So we now need to increase the purchases, and the increase in credit purchases will result in increase in trade payables, which is why we will add this amount of 3,250 within the control account. So it's right here, 3,250 as part of the purchases journal error. Okay, that is all for the second one. Now for the third one, a check for 380 received from a credit customer had been dishonored by the bank. This had been incorrectly recorded on the debit side of the cash book but had been posted correctly to the ledger account. So we only need to rectify this error within our control account since there is an error within the book of prime entry. It should have been recorded on the credit side. So initially the credit side should have reflected 380, but we included this amount on the debit side. Now, in order to rectify this, if we enter it once on the credit side, it will just get cancelled out with the previous error. So we need to record it twice in order to show the correct amount as well. So we should be recording the total of 760 for this error. And we are talking about the dishonor check, right? Dishonor check will definitely increase our trade receivables because we have not yet received the amount of 760. And this was an error in the book of prime entry. So this will only affect our sales ledger control account. Let's write it down. So we need to add the 760, and this is part of the dishonor check. That is all for the third one. For the fourth one, an error of original entry had occurred when a purchases invoice for 4,650 had been recorded as 5,640. So we have overstated it. And it has been overstated by 5,640 minus 4,650, which is 990. And we are talking about an error of original entry, which means that this will affect both our control account as well as the ledger balances. And these are being overstated, which means that we now need to subtract the 990 in order to reduce our trade payables amount from both the control account as well as the ledger balances. And we can record it as error of original entry. So error of original entry will be 990 on this side as well as this side. Okay. Now for the fifth one, interest of 70 charged on an overdue customer's account had been credited to the customer's account. It should have been debited. So it is on the credit side. Now in order to bring it to the debit side as 70, if we record it once, it will just get cancelled out with the incorrect amount, so we need to record it twice. So we'll record 140 on the debit side. And in this case, we are charging the interest, which will definitely increase our trade receivables. So we need to add this amount of 140, but only on our ledger balances. Let's do that. So we have 140 right here. This is part of the interest charged. So we've completed all of the errors. Now we need to calculate the total. And remember, the total of the purchases ledger control account should be equal to the total of purchases ledger balances. If it is not equal, then we might have made some errors. Let's calculate the total. For the purchase ledger control account, we will now get the corrected balance, which is 28,540 plus 3,250 minus 990, which results in 30,800. And for our total of purchases ledger balances, we will now get the corrected total, which will be 31,790 minus 990, which also results in 30,800. So these two are equal, which means that we have adjusted all of our errors correctly. Let's repeat the same process here as well. For the sales ledger control account, we will get the corrected balance, and that will be 35,790 minus 490 plus 760, which results in 36,060. We repeat the same process for the sales ledger balances as well, where we will calculate the corrected total. That will be 36,410 minus 490 plus 140, which results in 36,060. In this case as well, the corrected balance for the sales ledger control account is equal to the corrected total of sales ledger balances, which means that we have adjusted all of our errors correctly. Let's move towards the next part. Now we have been given the additional information. Control accounts sometimes contain contra entries. We need to explain why contra entries may be made in control accounts. So contra entry in control accounts will occur whenever a credit supplier is also a credit customer, and the business as well as that credit customer or the credit supplier owe each other money, and we just cancel it out or set off. That is what contra means. Let's write it down. A contra entry occurs when a business's credit supplier, who is also a credit customer, owe each other money and one balance is set off against the other. Alright, That is all for this question. If you found this video useful, make sure that you like the video and leave a comment below, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you do not miss any of these videos in the future. Thank you.